There's an old saying, no one ever went to their graves wishing they'd spent more time at work. The unfortunate fact is that for too many workers, especially those in industry, those jobs may be responsible for sending them to the early grave. Management of these industries are not helping to improve safety. As corporations become increasingly fixated on the bottom line, worker safety becomes a lower priority, and workers' lives are needlessly sacrificed as a result. According to the Census of Fatal Occupational Injuries, or CFOI, asbestos disease is a leading cause of death in 12 different occupations. Interestingly, steel workers are not indicated by name in this particular category. However, any study of industrial practices soon show that wherever high heat or fire is a hazard, asbestos is present in one form or another. In fact, according to the Asbestos Resource Center, steel and iron workers are among the highest risk of asbestos exposure. Asbestos products in steel and iron foundries. Asbestos has been used for well over 3,000 years because of its heat and fire-resistant properties. It is actually a kind of stone and is in the same mineral category as silicon. However, asbestiform minerals differ from other kinds of silicate rock in that they have the consistency of cotton or flax, making them very easy to weave into clothing. Here is the irony. The greatest asbestos danger to steel and iron workers was found in the very clothing that was designed to protect them from burns, such as overcoats, gloves, and fireproof aprons, and even face masks. If and when these became worn or damaged, asbestos fibers were released from the linings of such gear. In addition, asbestos in steel mills and iron foundries were used for the blast furnaces, boilers, and steam pipes, as well as tools such as ladles. Specific jobs with higher rates of asbestos exposure. In any industrial operation, there are various jobs that must be performed. At a steel mill, those positions most likely to come in contact with asbestos fibers are those of the pourer or caster, operator, tender, furnace operator, and inspector, as well as machine setter, steel lather, and millwright and welder. New uses of asbestos in construction were technically banned in the late 1970s. However, most of the remaining steel mills in the U.S. were built before then. Despite an ongoing program of asbestos removal, abatement, and containment, there are still hundreds of thousands of buildings in the U.S. that still contain asbestos. An attempt at the wholesale ban of all asbestos was made by the Environmental Protection Agency in 1989, but large corporate interests, working through the federal courts, managed to get the ban overturned 2 years later. In 2002, Senator Patty Murray again attempted to pass legislation to ban asbestos. This legislation was stalled in committee for 5 years by a Congress more beholden to corporate interests than social good. However, with the changes that came about as a result of the 2006 election, Senator Murray has been able to reintroduce her legislation, the Ban Asbestos in America Act. So far, it has received bipartisan support and is scheduled to come to the Senate floor in the fall of 2007. If you have been exposed. Mesothelioma has a latency period of anywhere from 20 to 50 years. Symptoms of mesothelioma, shortness of breath, chest pains, fatigue, and unexplained weight loss, are similar to those of many other respiratory and cardiovascular diseases. Only a qualified oncologist and pathologist can confirm such a diagnosis, which is the necessary first step to building a successful case, should you decide to bring legal action. Once the diagnosis has been confirmed, it is important to contact a lawyer as soon as possible, as most states have a statute of limitations, usually 1 year from the date of diagnosis, on asbestos suits. Thank you for watching. This video was produced by Asbestos.Net, a leading resource on all aspects of asbestos and mesothelioma. Our priority is to inform victims about the devastating effects of asbestos exposure, mesothelioma, asbestos cancer, asbestosis, and other asbestos-related diseases, and to advise them with a wealth of information. Individuals whose lives have been touched by mesothelioma have numerous questions and concerns. Their caregivers and family members also need accurate, reliable information. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with mesothelioma or asbestos cancer and need more information, we invite you to visit and explore the thousands of pages of oncologist-reviewed material on Asbestos.net, to call our convenient toll-free number shown below and speak with a mesothelioma specialist, or to use the simple contact form found at Asbestos.net to request a free copy of our informative books, custom inserts, and DVD. Asbestos.net. Information and help for patients and families.